Everyone, and welcome to No Books Given, the truth about horse life. I'm Felicity.
And I'm Sam, and this week we have got a guest on, our local farrier, Michael McTurnan. Welcome, Michael.
Thank you for having me.
So, we all know him as different things. You know him as Mick.
I know him as Mick.
I know him as Mac. And other people know him as different things. So, we've got loads of questions what have come in for you. But I think to start off with, we should learn a bit more about you. So, where did it all start?
Where did it start? Well, I've always had a lifelong interest in horses, and round about age 11 decided I wanted to be a farrier. I used to help a local guy go around with him, whole horses, pass him tools, different things like that, and kept the interest and really went from there.
So, have you come from a horsey background? Like, did your parents have horses? Has the rest of your family had horses?
Yeah, the whole family is very much horse oriented, especially on my dad's side. It goes back generations.
Have you ridden before?
Ridden and drive. I mainly I would choose driving over riding.
I'd actually fucking pay to see you ride. I really would.
I'm sure there's a picture somewhere.
Yeah, I would pay to see that.
When did you last have ride?
Be a couple of years ago now, I would say, but
not a regular.
Yeah, not a regular.
Yeah. And how did you find like?
Oh, hang on, actually.
Sorry.
It's come back to me. It's come back to me. It was in Texas when I rode last year. Yeah, when I went on holiday, I went ranching. I completely slipped my mind.
What was that like?
Brilliant. Loved it.
He thinks he's star of fucking Yellowstone, doesn't he?
It's got the hat and everything.
Yeah. He has. I've seen a picture of him with a hat on.
Yeah, I'm the Yorkshire Rip.
Well, you can say something else. The Yorkshire Ripper, yeah. And then, I can't remember what I was going to say now, you've distracted me. How did you find, like, all the training and, like, your apprenticeship and stuff like that?
I really enjoyed it. It's, I trained at Londonderry, under Hugh Dyer. It was really good bunch of lads, very busy. We managed to work on all different types of horses and discipline shot everything from Shetland to Shire pretty much. It was a great basis for training.
Was that residential then? Like you go to uni, would you go away to do it?
You'd over your apprenticeship, you'd go on block release to college. So you do, maybe in the early stages in year one, maybe year two, you go for maybe 2-3 weeks at a time. And then as you got through the years, you go for a week, maybe two max type of thing. And that would be twice a year.
Oh, was that Warwickshire College?
The one where I went to was, Oakridge. They don't actually have it anymore. And that was between Edinburgh and Glasgow.
Right. Okay. And go on.
How many years ago was that?
I can't remember.
In total, I've been doing this now 23 years.
And for anybody what's thinking of starting then, what would your advice to them be?
It's much more difficult nowadays because there's less and less ATF training farriers. There seems to be less and less.
What's an ATF?
An ATF, that's an approved training farrier.
Ah.
So that's
So a farrier what can take on an apprentice?
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So there's less and less. I think throughout the country there's sort of early to mid 20s. That's it. Who are training. There's the whole training system. When I was doing it, you might get 200 to 300 over a year. Now I think they're lucky to get best part of 20 through.
And why do you think that is?
I think it's a hard job, and I think a lot of kids now don't seem to want the hard, the graft of it and things. They want to be like influencers or, TikTokers or something, that type of thing. But I mean, there will be ones out there who are genuine and do like, horses and want to work with the hands, be a skilled job, things like that. But, it's the whole industry has changed, and it's not particularly changed for the better, I would say.
Right. So, yeah, you're on about it being hard work and stuff. Like, what do you think the hardest thing about the job is?
I mean, obviously physically, it's very hard.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, I'd say, pressure from, custom, when it gets into, summertime, lots of shows on, lots of competitions, things like that. It's just trying to manage yourself well. But it's definitely not a job where you leave at 5 o'clock on a Friday and you pick it back up again 8, 9 o'clock on a Monday. You very much, feel like you're on call all the time.
Unless you don't answer your phone like you.
Well, sometimes.
Because you're in the house at 5 o'clock and you don't leave till after 9 because you're still in the fucking bath until 9 o'clock. Oh, dear me. Yeah, but you must see, like, some interesting stuff. Like, obviously you'll go through a day of trimming and shoeing, but you must see some interesting stuff as well.
Yeah. There's lots of interesting things. And, just recently, I would say with the ground starting to dry up a little bit, getting a lot of horses with abscesses. In fact, I've done one today, trimmed a horse and, found an abscess in the toe. It just released and straight away the comfort for the horse it was evident.
Oh, we've got a question actually about abscesses, of one person what's wrote on our Facebook. I think it was Facebook, from Gemma Sarah, and she's put, how are you not sick with the smell of an abscess?
I think it's like anything, you get used to it. So some are obviously worse than others.
I was going to say, this sounds weird, but do they all smell the same?
It's certainly a lot worse when, a poultice has been put on and, they'll take it off and the frog and the sole's sweated and things like that. Yeah. It's definitely worse then.
I think it's smelly. Well, Freddie's just had one.
Yeah.
Got out the boot of shame.
Yeah.
Would you recommend, well, I suppose you want it wet, don't you, normally? Is it, yeah. Does it depend on it, or?
Do they not sweat in them boots? Because it's like plasticky, isn't it? Like rubbery.
Yeah, because I've tried to keep him out with the bandage on. But obviously, he's a dickhead and removed it all the time. So even in his stable, he did that. So I put the boot of shame on. But it is plastic. So and then, because it didn't really burst because it came out of his heel. I wasn't sure if it was sweat or crap coming out or...
I would say with something like that, you'd pretty much want to poultice anyway for a couple of days, but also air is also your friend. Yeah. As long as obviously where you're turning, if it's then open to the air, it isn't standing in mud again and potential reinfecting, things like that.
Mm. Like, was there any part of your apprenticeship or going through it where you thought, actually, this is not for me?
I think everybody has certain things where they sort of, Mondays, you get certain days where you think, the weather's rubbish, recently this winter's been probably one of the hardest ones, wettest winters on, since, it seems forever, but you've got two dynamics there because we've had the summer where previously we've had 5 months of really, really dry, hard ground conditions. Horses' hooves been really suffering from that, and then you've gone the other extreme where it's so wet. So you've got the two big extremes in the feet, and yeah, it's one of them where sort of water is good to a certain degree. It's when you get saturated. For the hoof, and same with, drier conditions are alright as long as you're on top of it. But the trouble is, the cracks start and things in summer. I would say overall though, feet are pretty adaptable. Yeah.
See, I always got told ages ago, like everybody puts all these hoof oils and stuff on the feet when they're really, really dry. And I don't know if it was you what told me or somebody else, but the best thing for the foot is water.
Yeah.
To stand them in water.
Yeah, a lot of the oils and things, they can actually be a repellent, to it, because if it's a Stockholm tar based, oil, it can actually repel the water and it's drying it out further. Mm-hmm. But generally, water is, in dry conditions, is the best thing. And then you can always put an oil on over the top, to then help it seal it. But ideally you want like a hoof soluble, oil which will allow, lock in moisture as well as allowing moisture to come in.
Yeah. And like all these supplements, like we see it everywhere now, feed shops all over the internet, like buy this supplement for this and that supplement for that, or this balancer, that balancer. Like, do you think any of them are any good, like for feet and?
Yeah, I would say there's pros and cons. I mean, somebody's always willing to sell you something.
Yeah.
I would say the magic key ingredient, to better, healthier feet, is definitely, if you've got weak feet, for instance, biotin is a great one. It helps promote foot growth. So yeah, I would say the magic is really that. But obviously you can find supplements and things. If the horse is lacking, then, you will get, covering all bases. Yeah.
So just off the top of your head, if somebody said, what is the worst thing you've ever seen in your job? What is the thing that pops into your head?
I've seen some fair things, but I would say probably one of the worst things that I've seen that stuck with me was, when I was on holiday in Cyprus, and, my friend Martin Haig, who's a farrier as well, we trained together. He lived in Cyprus for 7 years, and it was one of those kind of weeks when I went out to see him, and I used to go with him, working and seeing different things around the island. And I remember seeing, a broodmare that actually had, a thing called, like ballerina syndrome. But normally here, we would deal with it like a boxy foot. But the thing is, the tendon tightens so much where the hoof actually completely and utterly turned over, and it was walking on its coronet band on the floor. So the hoof was, things like that you just don't see normally apart from in textbook. And to see something like that and to say it was in full was a massive shocker, because over here, you'd kind of think that was the end of the line for the horse. But over there, they were carrying on and breeding from it. I think sometimes, ignorance is bliss to a certain degree, but I'm not saying that is, right. I'm just saying, to them, they might not have particularly thought it was such a bad thing. But when you know, obviously, the anatomy of the horse and knowing what structures are under there, then, it's pretty awful, pretty scary to see something like that.
I mean, surely that mare must have been crippled lame, and surely the bit of seat, it can't bloody walk.
Yeah. It was walking to a certain degree. It was just hobbling. And,
right.
So it kind of could hold its own weight, but it's a shock when you see it. You're there in the flesh.
So what's the worst thing you've dealt with then? Not seen like that, but what's the worst case you've come across?
I would say seeing, some horses when they've had laminitis to the point where, they've had, full rotation, and where, say, like the pedal bone does start to come through the foot, or even horses where they've even broken limbs and things like that. That's awful. So
we had a question actually on Facebook. I can't remember. I'd seen it whilst we were out, asking about rotation.
Well, you'll have probably heard of them, Hoofing Marvellous, and all that. Not necessarily just them, but that whole school of thought of that the P3 can't rotate independently, so it doesn't sink. Like I had a horse with P3 rotation when he was older, a few years ago, but like they're saying it's all about the angles on the trim.
Yeah.
And then laminitis is suggesting it's not
I think I'd seen something or read up where they said the Hoofing Marvellous where laminitis was a condition made up by vets and farriers to monopolise from it. Well, what my argument would be with that, there'd be plenty of fell type horses living out on mountainsides, natives that haven't really been touched by people that have had laminitis and are suffering. So it kind of squashes that argument about, it's a trim thing, because a lot of these will just be running from the, up and down the hills. And they've ended up with laminitis. So it kind of, I would say that really kind of crushes that argument.
Yeah. So it's not just as simple as the angle's wrong.
No.
It's one theory,
absolutely
I suppose, isn't it? Because that can happen with the wrong angle.
Yeah, that's the same as just trimming a hoof anyway. I'm not saying, you're going to go down the realms of laminitis, but I'm saying imbalance, your medial lateral balance, whether a toe, is long, broken back, broken forward. All of this is done. Like farriers will look and assess a horse, and see what they need to trim off before even picking the foot up. They'll assess it from the front, assess it from the side, often walking, as the horses walk in or walk away, that type of thing. That's what you'll do, and you'll make your assessment from there and trim accordingly.
And I suppose every farrier will have their own sort of viewpoint on it. I suppose you'll all stick to a main, like you're instructed, you'll be on the main path,
at the end of the day, it's one of these things where it's all built on opinions, and my opinion, what I think is right, isn't going to sit right with somebody else and vice versa. But don't you find that with the whole industry of the horses?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Well, that's partly why we started this, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
I mean, I was meant to have a look at that, who you've just been on about.
Lucy Marbles.
Yeah, but
I don't know, it's not just them, and I'm not picking on them.
Yeah.
It's their theory that's come out, and they're huge.
Right,
They are the only ones, really, that are creating a different argument, but then I don't know of any of the schools. That's the only one I can think of.
There is, and there's certain points, and
some of it's good, I think, and I think it's, for me, I think owners have a bit of knowledge, but I was going to ask you if that's a problem when owners have a little bit too much.
Or not enough knowledge, really. Believe it or not, there's people out there who believe the world is still flat. And if you sail to the end, you'll fall off. So it's your own opinions. It's not exactly what I would agree with, but like I say, it's opinions.
Yeah, of course it is. And where are they at then?
America.
Right.
Are they American?
I try not to delve into too deep with that, so
I think
it's quite scary.
But see,
there's a couple here that do, like, I know one of the track liveries is huge, and they will not do anything else, but on the social media they show a lot.
Right, okay.
So there's a lot of learning to be done.
I think with that though, a lot of the track systems are good.
Yeah.
To the point where, obviously the horses are constantly moving. They're not just stood still. But a lot of that is also to do with diet. I think everything's, monitored better, and stripped out. Certain things are stripped out or added in, and I think with that type of thing, a track system works, and it is popular because people are getting the results. Horses are sound, and will be. Yeah. But is that because they're losing weight, they're moving, you're feeding them right? Do you see what I mean? It's a connection.
As a kid, I was taught, when you're reading, your pony magazines, it was like, get your horse to walk across different surfaces.
Yeah.
Because people go from a grass paddock to an arena. Yeah. And then go out on a hack and expect it to be sound, and it's like, it can't be, because it's not been, I
agree with that, and obviously, like, the barefoot, side of things, I'm a big believer in, if a horse is, kind of doing nothing, then what's the point in having shoes on? However, one thing I will say, going back to the summer we've just had, with it being so dry and horses were struggling, all I could offer previously was to put shoes on to try and help that horse lift it off the ground. However, a lot of those horses would work, Tom, to get the feet back really good and strong and solid. And I thought, really, I need to look at a different way. And that's how I got interested in the boots. And I went and did the boot fitting course. And now that's part of my range, that I offer a boot fitting service and, get that type of boot or make of boot which suits your horse, because there's several different boots that works.
Because I think Freddie, you shod for me, because then I tried to get him up the gravel track and I couldn't get him out.
No, that's right. Whereas thinking about now as something to offer, I think boots would definitely be a good thing.
Yeah.
Bit of self-promotion there, Macadamias.
Well, you've got to try when you can.
Yeah, see, I was just thinking then, this track system, I know there's so many people that like it.
Everybody's on it at the moment, aren't they?
See, I don't.
Obsessed.
No, I don't.
I do it to the point that I'll have fencing. I will not go on about it. I promise, right? I will not.
Do not mention your fucking fencing.
But I'll put it in so they have to move around it. And the whole theory of your hay here and your water at the other end, and that get the lazy buggers moving, basically. I'll go with that.
See, I've got my hay in the middle of the field. My water's here.
So they have to mooch.
Yeah, they do. I know it's not very far. But then at different times I'll go out and look there, and they're not all just stood at that bale of hay, they're moving around.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have that than set up loads of fucking fencing round my field from the trash and blow away.
And you'll find as well, as the grass comes through, they'll mooch even more, they'll walk about, wanting, you know, the new as well. So, exactly, Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, I think it's like running a livery yard, so another bit of self-promotion, because I've got a livery yard, if you didn't know. The track
I don't think you've ever mentioned that before.
We've got space. But yeah, we're on the traditional paddocks at the moment. But I think, like, for me, it's like we've had one kicked in the field, and I've had 2 kicks, 2 breaks, not on my livery yard, but different places. But people think that turning them out on a track and is fine. But I'm like, for me, I know there's a herd dynamic and they'll be able to move away, but I just worry about the risk of injuries for people. And I think I know you're a bit different though, because you'll just turn yours out no matter what, won't you? Just like get in there and deal with it.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
I suppose that's the ultimate, when you look at it, you know, that is the herd animal instinct, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, but I think you've got a good balance, because you've got from foals, you know, right through young stock mares, you know, and and one teaches another, you know, I think that's a good thing as well, you know, especially youngsters, because they can get too, you know, top side of themselves and a bit bossy or whatever. And surprising now another horse will knock it down a peg or two and things. And this actually coming back onto, you know, like the apprenticeship, I think there's too much emphasis on like making shoes still nowadays, when you pretty much can buy any type of shoe you want. I think it's a good thing to be able to make shoes, understand how to make shoes. But me personally, I think horsemanship is key. You know, and it's a thing of, you know, for everyone, customers, yourself, keeping yourself safe, everything. It's just people, when they're not reading horses well, and, you know, the upset and everything that can come from there, and potential injury. I just think focus on horsemanship, and it's something that should really be kind of taught and brought back a lot more.
Yeah, 100%. I think there is a lot of that lacking. Like I know I follow quite a lot of people in America, and if you was to go to a riding school in America, your first time at that riding school, you won't sit on an horse's back. No. You've got to learn to look after them first, and then you ride them.
Yeah, you like assess first.
Yeah, of course you are.
It's right, because I mean, you know, it's one of those animals that, well, up until recently, you could pick up for less than a dog type of thing.
Yeah.
I know, granted, now the horses and the pricings have gone crazy, and like your entry level is almost like £2,000 for a horse or thereabouts.
But have they gone crazy, or are they at what they should be at?
Well, they probably are at where they should be at, to be honest. And it's a little bit like British farriers and the rest of the world. I mean, England is the only place where you have to actually be trained and licensed to shoe horses. The rest of the world you don't. And the thing is, I think in Europe the average is about €300 for a set of shoes. You're looking in like America, it can be anywhere from a cheap set is $300, $350 right up to $600-700 a set. And whereas we are in and around the £100 mark, you know, give or take, you know, a little bit, but the average is roughly about 100, 110 at the moment. And you kind of think, when we get guest speakers coming over from this country, like America and wherever, and they're saying kind of British farriers are envied across the world because they're kind of trained the best, but also we are the cheapest. And I think now a shift with the pricing, as in the pricing of horses, reflects where it should be.
Yeah.
And the thing is, the demand for farriers and the fact that there's less and less of us, I think it will get somewhere, where it needs to be, because I think at the moment it's in and around just over about 2,000 farriers, registered. And I think it's said a third of which are 50 or over. So within the next kind of 5 to 10 years, we're probably going to lose a third of farriers, pure and simply because of a retiring out age things, you know, injury or whatever. So yeah, it's gonna look quite bleak in the future.
Yeah. And then do you think it'll end up coming to the fact that because a lot of people can't take on apprenticeships and things like that, do you think there will be more farriers out there, illegal farriers shoeing?
There could be, or I think what will happen is there'll be more and more pushed for, like you said earlier, your comment there about, the barefoot type of thing, and I think more and more will be kind of going for that. I also think, it'll get to a point where it might even price itself out. For instance, people who need a set of shoes that are going to be, eventing or whatever, need those shoes. There's no questions that. But somebody who rides a horse once a fortnight, are you going to justify to, put a set of shoes on those? Horses, obviously in racing, things like that, they're going to need it. It's part of the rules. So what I would say is, I think there is a definite change in the market. Hence, kind of getting a bit more interested into, with the boots as well. Because I think that's where it will end up in the future. There'll probably be less people have shoes on horses and maybe look down the route of the boots.
Yeah. So for people what don't know then, what is the difference between yourself as a fully qualified farrier and a barefoot trimmer?
So a barefoot trimmer is literally just that. It's trimming a horse, not applying a shoe, not applying, any form of anything like that. It's just, a regular maintenance trim.
So anybody can do that. You don't need a qualification for that.
You don't, but what I would say is, my apprenticeship, 5 years, pretty confident to trim a horse and get it balanced and know it's, how it's moving and it's right every time. I would say to get your eye in, you're looking at best part of nearly 2 years of every day doing that.
Yeah.
Whereas, some of these courses that they're offering is like a 1, maybe 2 day course.
Yeah.
Well, there is no way I would feel confident enough to go and see the different types of horses with the different, breed types, hoof types, things like that. It's not necessarily a good thing. And I suppose it comes down to how you as a customer feels confident in your, trimmer, whether it seems to be a farrier. But for some reason, like farrier has been given a bit of it's a stigma and it's almost like a bad word to say, in the barefoot, although farriers have been trimming horses all the time.
Yeah.
They've always been barefoot, haven't they?
Yeah. It's just like a new thing. It's a new fashion that's recycled or whatever.
Yeah.
But farriers, literally, everything comes from the trim. Even when you're setting them up to put a shoe on, everything comes from the trim.
What's the difference with what race? When they put racing slips on?
Are they just
because they're so light. Because they'll obviously trim them in between, but when they put them on for racing, is it as like specialist as doing, when you do a full set of shoes?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, realistically, what they're trying to do there with the aluminiums, they're trying to make that as light as possible, but still allowing, the grip for the turf.
Yeah.
So the idea of the like concavity of that shoe is when they're running on turf, it actually digs in and gives extra traction.
Yeah.
But what they're wanting to do is make those shoes as light as possible. So in theory, that horse is almost running, if you like, in its natural state.
Yeah.
I mean, this is going to be like, probably I'm going to make myself sound thick as shit here, but if they wanted it to run as natural as possible, why put a shoe on it? They're only running along grass.
Yeah.
So why not
There's
have
a rule,
it barefoot?
but why put a saddle on it? Why put a jockey on it?
Well, no, I get all that, yeah.
If you wanted it as natural as, can be.
Yeah.
That is it. I mean, there was a rule where, in fact, I think on the all-weather, you can run without shoes.
Yeah.
I think it's all-weather, you can't run without shoes. And on turf, you've got to have shoes on.
Right.
There was a thing where you could used to get away with just being shot in front and not behind, but now, the ruling is that they have to have 4 shoes on. But so I know some horses that run on the all-weather and they might only just have fronts on.
Right.
And that's maybe just to protect the feet as they're walking across, the car park or wherever, the stable yards, things like that. Because thoroughbreds are naturally much flatter footed, especially in front, because they do have, or should have, a natural concavity behind so they can cope better.
Right.
I suppose you wouldn't want a bloody great bruise just as you walk in, would
No,
you?
no, not at all. Step on something and that's it. Yeah. You've got that horse fit and ready for that race, and it can be something as just standing on a stone.
Yeah.
You can throw it out.
Well, York's a long walk.
Yeah,
from the stables to
I mean, that, to be honest, is can be quite hairy, leading those horses up that way, especially, when, they're fit, ready to run and, all the noise and everything about, it's
badly designed.
Yeah.
So, would you prefer to do a trim on a heavy draft horse or a full set on a spicy race horse?
I'd rather sit and drink beer.
Well, you've already done that, so you're not having another. You've had a beer, you've had a coffee, and now you're on pop.
I know. Well, you've got to have a lip loosener, haven't you?
Well, yeah. No, but which would you prefer?
Or Shetland.
It depends. If the racehorse stands well.
No, it's spicy and it's a dickhead.
Spicy. All right. What's the heavy like?
One of mine, like a big draft.
Oh, neither then.
Jesus Christ. Hey, I've got some quick fire questions for you. Right, you ready?
As I ever will be.
Right, tea or coffee?
Tea.
No, fucking coffee! Right, toe clips, quarter clips or no clips?
It all depends. It all depends what you're needing for. Like if there's a crack up the centre of the toe, you're going to need a quarter clip. Or
these are quick fire. We don't need a great big fucking essay about it.
But there's a reason for it, isn't there?
Right, mares or geldings?
You kind of know where you are with a gelding, but I like my mares.
Yeah, I do, to be fair. Shoeing or barefoot?
Horses for courses.
Fuck's sake.
Is that a cop-out? I think that's a cop-out.
So do I.
But the thing is, I would choose barefoot. However, if a horse wouldn't go, or can't go,
Yeah, but now you can put your boots on. So.
You can, but even
hang on. Right, so, glue-ons or boots?
Oh.
Well, again, what are you using it for? But I would say boots pure and simply because you can take the boots off at the end of the day. You can clean the foot. You can spray the foot. A lot of these glue-ons, they actually, cover a lot of the foot and can cause bits of issues, degenerative of the frog or sole or you name it,
How many bones are in the horse's front foot?
How many?
Yeah.
There's 206 in a human.
The foot of the horse.
It depends. Are you talking like P1, P2, P3?
Well, in its foot.
There's basically P2
Stephen
and P3.
said you'd better just fire this out, you'd know it instantly. And you fucked it up.
No, P3 and P2.
Right.
That goes within the foot, doesn't
Where's
it?
P1?
But then there's the navicular as well,
Yeah. So how many?
So you've 3.
Right. So, here's a question.
Just let me check my anatomy again.
Yeah.
Just going to Google.
Here's a question, right? So, who got caught short on the apprenticeship?
Who got caught short?
Who needed a shite when they were out on the apprenticeship?
Oh, that was...
Was it not you?
No, it wasn't me.
Oh, Stephen said it was you.
No.
With the shovel.
No, that wasn't me. No, that was another lad. He drove up from Worcester and, he didn't have time to stop and then we were busy, he'd gone straight to the race yard, did a load of work and then for some reason he decided he'd get a full chicken, rotisserie in Thirsk. He had that and then, got to a yard and there wasn't a toilet, so.
Yeah, tell the rest of the story, man.
Well, he went to bury it and he didn't get that far, I don't think.
Oh, have you ever been caught short? Embarrassingly caught short?
Not that I can think of.
I tell you what I have. I was absolutely dying for a pee. And we was towing a trailer back. I can't remember where we'd been, but it was me and Stephen. So he's like, he pulled into this lay-by ranting at me as per bloody usual. And he was like, oh, just go have a pee in there. And I got in the trailer. And I've got this bloody cob looking at me and I'm crouched down.
It was give you a funny look like something dirty and you're
and
like,
I'm just about to have a wee and I just started weeing and Stephen rolled car forward. I thought, you bastard. Absolute bastard. So I've got some questions off people what I've sent in, right? Let me just have a look at this. Well, this one is probably a daily one. How many times have you been burnt? Been burnt bad? You must burn yourself daily.
Yeah, bits of sort of flake and things is a regular things, but ones where you kind of burn bad, not that often. I guess you learn, to get your hands out of the way.
I'm going to say that bit's hot.
Yeah.
Don't touch it.
Yeah. And if it falls, don't grab it.
Well, yeah. And then this one's off Gemma Dodson. Why has my horse lost 3 shoes over the past 2 weeks when shod every 6 weeks religiously?
That made me laugh, that one. There's a few answers for that.
I know. I don't know what to answer because I haven't shot it. I don't know. What do you want me to say?
Well, I don't know. This is what the question is.
Is it the conditions? Is it the field? Is it the mud? Is it because it's got weak feet? Is it, there's loads of things surrounding it.
She does have thoroughbreds.
But
then, would you not go maybe every 5 weeks or whatever? I think a lot of people are stuck on this, like, it's got to be done every 6 weeks.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It has shown that actually on a reduced cycle can certainly help, like a 5 week. However, if a foot, for instance, doesn't grow, like a lot of thoroughbreds don't grow very much foot, they just grow out, then you haven't got much to work with and you kind of almost making that foot like a pin cushion because you're over nailing it all the time, for instance. So overshoeing can be in my opinion, is worse than probably, having it on a slightly longer cycle. Because at least, hopefully, you can have some foot growth there and try and pull the shoe back, get new nails, because it's all about strength, keeping that foot strong.
Can you put boots over shoes as an in that situation? Or would that be a bit overkill? Just while it's, like sticky mud.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't pull off,
I've seen kind of all sorts over the years. I've seen people, even put vet wrap on and, wrap them on and things like that, or even like hoof casts. But generally that's because, hooves are really, weak. And what you would do is probably, cast to the hoof, but then actually put your shoe on the cast, nail into the cast. So it's not even on the hoof. So it's not pulling on the hoof. There's lots of different things you can do.
Yeah, we had like a putty, because George, my old horse, he used to always pull them off and he'd take a chunk of hoof. So we ended up like putting the shoe on and sort of gluing like a putty over the top.
Yeah, I mean, some people will kind of get a shoe on and then they'll use, different kind of things like, a good product like the J-Megs, which is almost, to people who don't understand, it's kind of, a bit like a car body filler. You kind of put it over it, or little small pots of these like Equilocks, which you can mix up and put over and smooth over. So basically you're mimicking the hoof then.
Yeah.
So it can't then stand on it. But one thing I would say with things like that, a lot of the time it can break the hoof down worse because it's the kind of bacteria that gets in behind all that. And then you make that hoof,
more trouble, aren't you?
Yeah, more trouble basically from that. So.
So I've got another question, and this is from Vicky Dodds. Have you ever had to refuse to shoe a horse?
Yeah.
And why?
Usually manners.
From the horse or the owner?
Both. You've just got to, kind of call it. There's not many times, that I've kind of refused, but, when it gets into a situation where it's dangerous and the person who is maybe holding it, it's just not respecting them. It's not respecting me. And it is just at the point where you just got to say, look, I can't afford to be injured. I've got a family to keep, food to put on the table, all things like that. And who's going to pay my wage for the next kind of 6 or 8 weeks while I recover? It's just, you've got to have sense and, self-preservation more than anything.
Yeah. So for you then, like I always got taught, like when I was at college and stuff like that and training, you stand at each side of your horse for the farrier and then in front for the vet. Like where do you prefer owners to stand?
So, there's a definite, so when I'm working on front feet, it's opposite.
Right, okay.
And then when I'm working on back feet, it's the same side. Because, for instance, if you got one that was looking like it was quite sharp, it was going to kick you. At the end of the day, if it was going to go for you, you would want the owner to pull its head. This is on the back feet, obviously.
Yeah.
You would want its head to be pulled towards you so its bum goes away. So you're kind of safe. But also the amount of ones where you'll think, they'll be there watching you and hopefully, basically your life is in their hands. And then you find, that they're looking down watching TikTok videos or something like that and just totally away from everything. And you're thinking, hang on, this is half a ton of animal here. This could end badly quick.
Yeah. So for anybody out there then, what's thinking about getting a horse or has a horse and doesn't really know many farriers and stuff, what would you advise them to do when looking for a farrier in their area? And
I mean, there's the farrier's registration, so you can go on and put in your area, and you'll have a list of farriers, for that area. What I would say is kind of go, like, maybe go to a riding schools, things like that, try and get experience, volunteer help, even if it's, some of these like, rehabilitation places, things like that. I know there's one just down the road, New Beginnings, that's for like ex-race horses, things like that. Go and do a little bit first, see that actually, you can adapt to it, because it's not easy having horses, and there's a lot of knowledge that you need to build up with it. So what I would say is don't just jump into the deep end, kind of, go and assess it and things first and see whether actually this is, right for you. Because when the sun's shining, everybody loves horses. When it's like knee deep in mud and winter and it's cold, that's a different thing completely.
It's shit.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
This winter.
Yeah, it has been a long winter.
I've got a question.
Go on.
What would you do if you weren't a farrier? What would your dream job be?
Well, can I say that?
Well, no,
you can't be a porn star.
What I would say is the family business is around, like butchering and things like that. So I kind of grew up doing a lot of that. So I actually did enjoy that. However, I wanted to kind of go my own way, be my own boss really, and strike out into something different, because at the time, it was all on the news. There was something wrong with British beef, or, there was BSE, there was this, that and the other. Yeah, and it was something every week. And, although I will say there's been a, resurgence in, going to your butcher, and there's a guy, York Knavesmire Butchers, is it Farm Fresh? I think he advertised always for the best by Farm Fresh.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, he's quite good. He's promoting it. There's a few others like, Frustrated Farmer. Watching things like that. I think it's good that they're pushing through. There's also Slacky. He's like Master Butcher. He's really good in his videos and things. Something along that, or Ultimate, would be something a bit like Top Gear, go and drive cars and all,
You're fucking driving Miss Daisy, so you'd be no good on bloody Top Gear unless you're going on as James May.
I was going to say James May is the guy, isn't there?
Jesus Christ.
I'd be there while everyone's left me in the dust. I'd be pootling around.
100%. So, what age did you say you wanted to become wanting to be a farrier?
I was probably 11, 12, something like that.
So if you could go back and talk to the 11 or 12-year-old you, what would you say to him? Don't fucking do it.
Run away.
Yeah. Become a vet.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed, I've really enjoyed farriery, and I've enjoyed, the process and stuff. I mean, like anything, you get good days and bad days, but certainly working for yourself is a bonus, and working fundamentally with the horses. That's why I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
That's the reason. It's kind of putting shoes on was secondary. Working with the horses was the first thing.
Right.
And I'm sure there's quite a few customers that would say, even like yourself, when it comes to young stock, I would say I've got a great patience with young stock. I really enjoy it. My ultimate, if I could literally trim foals for the rest of my life every day, I'd be happy. That would be my ultimate.
Yeah, to be fair, like, you do all my foals and stuff, and looking at Betty when she was first born and you was here every week, and I'll show you some video, and I'll put them on the Facebook, pictures of her when she was first born. And her legs were all over, weren't they?
Yeah.
They was bad. And to look at her now, you wouldn't even know.
No.
She was bad.
Yeah.
And also, it gives them a good grounding, because you're giving them life experience and skills and things like that. And if you're actually, setting them up for the rest of life, if they're not panicking, if they volunteer the leg, of course there's going to be ones that tussle and pull about, but that is horses. And the thing is, you've just got to be, patient.
Yeah.
I know Hugh, my boss, always said, you need, the strength of Samson and the, patience of a saint and the wit of Job, basically, to be a good farrier. And he's not far wrong with that.
No, that's it. And I hear a lot of people say like, oh, my horse is bad, it won't pick its feet up. And then they expect the farrier to come once every 6 weeks and deal with that. Well, like, do you get that a lot?
Yeah, loads.
Yeah.
Loads. And unfortunately, you know, it's horsemanship isn't such a thing as it was, or if I can call it horsemanship, I should call it horsemanship or something now, should I, or whatever, to be politically correct. But,
well, yeah, but you don't know. There's all sorts, isn't there? So.
Yeah. But what I would say is, getting back to, you know, it's changing. It isn't really changing for the better.
No.
I think everyone leads like busy lives, and they're that used to kind of clicking on, you know, I don't know, Amazon, and it can be delivered by whatever. If you order it by 8 p.m. tonight, it'll come the next day. And I think they've got this mentality of, you know, they want everything done now, you know, and they're not prepared to kind of put the effort in and the work with realizing that actually it takes time. You're not dealing with a robot. It is its animal with its own mind.
Oh, 100%. I say that all the time, like they're not robots. But I think a lot of it comes as well, like education, like kids now, what you teach to ride and things like that, they just want to come and sit on. They don't want to learn anything else. They won't have a clue what a vet does or a farrier does or anything really.
And the thing is, like, what is riding? 20%.
If you're fucking lucky.
If you're lucky, you know, the rest of it, you've got a good 80% of just the mundane mucking out, brushing, scrubbing down, you know, water troughs, you know, feed, hauling bales about, you know, it's all that crap that goes with it, but nobody that seems to want that side. They just want it all here now. You know? They want the fun of everything, and
but then they don't want to learn about like just how to look after them, the natural behaviour, and what if you go look in that field, what is normal for that horse, or is it poorly, is it lame, is it this, that or the other. They don't want to learn any of that. They'd rather sit for an hour on TikTok scrolling through, and I think that is it. And they watch all these influencers, and I think good on you, they're making money, but I think they want to do more educational stuff. Like I speak to loads of kids. They all know Harlow White is and Demir and all this lot, but they won't be able to tell you one farrier or one vet in the area.
Not though with some of them with the tattoos.
I was going to say Sam's pushing it there. Sam Wolfenden's really good for
we need a bit
but
of that to get
definitely interested in things.
Yeah,
and,
in all fairness, if you've got it, flaunt it, because if it were a woman, well, it'd be all right.
And to be fair, he does a great job. You know, he does a good job shoeing, makes a lovely job. Things he promotes the job well. You know.
And he looks good in a vest.
There you go. Yeah. Or even with a vest off.
Maybe that's what you need to do, Mac. Get yourself a vest. Jesus Christ. Anyway, another question. We'll have to wrap it up soon. We've been going ages. Next question. What is the weirdest thing you've ever had to pull out of a hoof?
The weirdest thing that I've ever had to pull out of a hoof?
Mm-hmm. If it's got stuck or...
You regularly get like massive sort of stones or rocks or things like that. You know, probably one of the worst things for, you know, to be in a hoof is probably getting back to, you know, one of your previous conversations, you know, like dog shit. It's like the absolute, it's like the world's worst finding that in a hoof when
well, I'll tell you what, get on your local community page. You'll be able to have a conversation on there because somebody will have put a picture of a dog shit on your community page.
Well, it's even worse if it's in a horse's hoof. Take a picture of that.
Oh, imagine that though, like picking a foot up and it's
grim. It's awful.
No, absolutely not. So what is your one, like, pet peeve? What do you hate about your job or...
don't say customers.
I was going to say customers, but you don't want to piss any of them off. But what is one thing what irritates you?
Not being offered a drink.
Oh, that.
I always offer you a drink. And to be fair, even if I don't offer you one, you'd come and get one yourself anyway.
Help yourself.
Did I ever tell you about that time I came home and Mac is here on my sofa with a packet of fucking bourbon biscuits? I'm like, all right.
Well, you were late. I was hungry.
All right, Jesus Christ, make yourself at home, Mac, it's all right.
One thing that really peeves, it's, I guess, some expectations, you know, that actually I'm not just a farrier, I am a family man as well. And, you know, having my own sort of time and space. And I know like a lot will always start with, you know, oh, sorry to message you a late night on a Friday or a Saturday or a Sunday or whatever. Just wait till a Monday then, you know. And I get it. Some people are busy and they kind of go, if I don't do it now, you know, I'll forget. I totally get that and stuff. It's just all the expectations where maybe, you know, because it always happens. Whenever you're due to go on holiday, there'll be some emergency and it'll just be, as you're trying to get everything finished, something will come in, or you are about to board the plane and then suddenly you'll get a picture and there's the horse with the shoe half hanging off or something. There's always sod's law will get you.
And then do you just put back, we'll pull it off then?
I normally send a picture with a drink on the plane and say, your problem.
Sorry.
You're on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, you will be busy as well, especially like now you've just had a new baby and...
Yeah.
And she, like, have you seen pictures of her on... You've put pictures on, haven't you?
Yeah. She is real.
She's obviously she's real. You haven't just made her up. Here's number 4. Jesus Christ. Yeah. So, and what pisses you off? What's pissed you off this week? Or last week, should I say? Because it's on the Monday. But it'll be Friday by the time this goes out. But
yeah, I'd say last minute cancellations, and I know farriers get a bad rap for, you know, sort of like maybe cancelling or moving appointments.
I mean, living on a different time zone.
Yeah, it can be.
We have to admit that we were actually late.
I was going to say you were late. I was here early. And thinking,
we did say, what time did we say? 4:04.
Yeah.
4:04. You came in at 4:45.
Oh, fair enough.
The one time.
That'll put me back in my box.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I had on the quickfire questions there, like, would you rather do 3 trims or 1 set?
Probably 3 trims.
Right, well, I've got 3 out there. What fucking trimming?
Hang on, I've heard somebody wants a set to do it.
Yeah, go on. What did I say? What's pissed you off this week?
I'd just say like, last minute, you know, cancellations when you've already sort of worked your diary around and things like that. And, you know, people wait until less than 24 hours. You can't just kind of magic work in because, for instance, that day I'd got quite a chunk of the day taken up, and to kind of like try and move work forward or backward, things like that. It wasn't easy. However, I will say I did actually fill it. I was, you know, I had a waiting list, so that did work out okay, but it's a bit like the kind of audacity that it's just like, right, cancel on you, you'll be fine. Do you know? I don't know, things do go wrong, do you know, but people don't seem to manage the time very well. I always try and, you know, stick to my times, let people know. I'll always say, I'll message you when I'm half an hour away, you know, so people can, you know, or even an hour if they need, let me know. I'll always be, you know, contactable and things. And I just hope, you know, kind of people, a majority, like 99% of people are good and do it. It's just that one time, you know, when, you know, you've kind of moved work about trying to fit that day in and then suddenly it's like, boom, drop it on you.
Though, isn't it?
Because
your diary.
When you finish shoeing, you're not actually finished. No. You then come back and you're sorting your diary or you do it, you know, and I do try and do it in the day a bit as well, pure and simply because when I get back, you know, I want to, you know, get on with, you know, the family and things. Yeah. See them, I don't want, you know, more of my time being taken away.
Forever,
so,
Do you not pay a cancellation fee? Do you not get them to pay a cancellation fee?
It should be something, and I'm not very techie enough with it, but, Emma has kind of said, you know, she, will look into something where it like sets a reminder. Yeah. And as part of terms is, you know, if you maybe cancel, I don't know, 24, 48 hours before, there's a certain amount, you know, that needs, or for instance, if you're chasing payment, you know, you'll get a percentage added on, you know, of your bill type of thing, which to be honest is quite good, but I'm just not that up with it. I'm not very techie and I kind of just think, you know, it's a bit of hassle, it's extra hassle, but is it though? Do you know what I mean? Because it's kind of hassle people then, you know, changing on you last minute, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and if they don't change last minute, well, they won't get fined. Well, not fined, but they won't have to pay, will they?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be no different if you were booked in somewhere else. You know what I mean? If you had a hair appointment or whatever, or, if you suddenly cancel there, they'd want, probably half, if not a full, pay.
Yeah, of course. Well, like you say, like, things happen, emergencies happen, and things can't be helped and what have you. But when it's just like, I don't know, bloody Doris down road is going out for coffee, so she wants her horse trimming next week rather than this week, well, that's just not acceptable, is it?
No.
They should pay. They've booked that time slot.
A lot of lessons are doing that now. You're paying up front as well. That's another thing you do is before you get there.
Yeah, and I think probably getting back onto, people don't really appreciate your time. Getting back onto that, right, click, I want it now type of thing. This whole ordering. And I don't think, that as a society has made people not appreciate some time, like a worker's time or whoever's time,
It's all in messages. I struggled at Burnby, when we ran that with the messages, the email, the text. I ended up with a different number because I just couldn't cope with it
all, and it bombards you. That's the thing with it.
You can't pick up the phone.
No, and that's part of this, getting back onto saying about, the reminders. Is it going to cause me more work? Because it's pinging up, this and sent, and they've replied, I kind of don't want that, know?
Yeah. It'd be interesting to hear from other people as well. So if anybody's got out to say, what they get pissed off about with farriers, because it is on both sides. I mean, obviously you do my horses, but I have had other farriers in the past where I'm just, one springs to mind, and I'm not going to name him. You'll know who it is. But it'd come and it'd take him 3 hours just to put a full fucking set on. I'm what the fuck are you doing? Just get on.
Yeah.
And
chat less, work more.
Yeah.
You get that with young people. We tend to, don't you?
And I'd go off and ride in the hope I'd come back and job would be done, or they don't turn up and they're like, I'm half an hour away, and 3 days later they still aren't fucking turned up.
It's when you're driving away and the window's still down and they're following you up the drive.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. So if anybody's got out to say or ask or anything, because I do like hearing other people's opinions. And
people are being a bit shy at the moment.
Yeah.
And get people do you have your horses shod? Do you have them shod up front or all round, or do you prefer boots? Do you like keeping them natural?
People that scare me are the ones that do their own.
Oh,
That's
100%.
always scared me a bit. I'm I didn't think that was legal until I had delivery moved in. She said, I'll do my own. Yeah. Oh dear, I don't like that.
No,
but they scare me a little bit.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't feel confident to touch
I won't.
Not
I won't go take a set of nippers to my horses.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't even rasp them. I don't think. I'd be worried I'd do the wrong thing because the balance is it can be tiny.
Massive, yeah.
Like you shaving it a centimetre.
Yeah.
And they're quite ferocious when you get going, can't they?
Yeah. So. Well, we was watching this YouTube video actually, and it was an American guy. I can't remember what he was called now. It was Stephen, and we was watching him, and he had the foot in between his legs, and he was nipping it as you would down until he got to the toe, and then he was literally 45-degree angle round, and when he put it down, it was awful. It was just I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Not even level.
No, I mean, I've seen all sorts of videos as you do across the world and things, and I think one of the best one was the guy where he was basically walked out like the Tin Man. He had everything strapped to him.
Jesus Christ. I've seen him though. Have you seen him abroad with big drafts, and they've got bloody angle grinders to the face?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, or a plane. Not the one you're flying. I meant a plane as in, like a wood plane type
Obviously.
thing.
Yeah. Or you see them, I don't know where they'd be, and they've got a hammer and chisel sort of thing, and they're just bop, 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 away.
Yeah.
You're fucking hell.
You see that one with the Chinese where it looks like a guy's gone and sharpened his shovel. His little spade, and he's there chopping it off.
Yeah, it's mental.
On the donkey's feet, and he's just he's there and he's pushing down, and you're thinking, oh God, waiting for the blood to come or something, it's scary.
They're a whole different kettle of fish, aren't they? Fucking donkeys.
Oh.
I hate donkeys.
They're
right bastards.
I've heard that before. Yeah, people said don't go near them.
Yeah.
Nice.
I do a few, and if everyone's listening where there might be, I love donkeys.
No, you do not. You're so full of shit. We've had a few donkeys actually, and a few of them have been nice, but they are twats.
Are they?
Yeah.
Yeah, someone told me that they worked at Hope Pastures, and I said, donkeys. She said, no, don't talk to me about donkeys. Can't stand them.
Yeah, it'd be interesting,
That's
like,
rescue
does
for-
anybody have a donkey?
Well,
Let's say your donkey stories.
Yeah.
So if anybody's listening and you've got a donkey, we'd want to see it.
where the term stubborn as an ass comes from, isn't it?
Well,
you know?
yeah.
Or do they outstrip Shetlands, though? For naughtiness.
Don't know, because...
I'd say
It's
so.
different.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what's pissed you off this week, anyway?
Me?
Yeah. Don't say fucking fencing.
No, I promised I wouldn't mention my fencing. I've got
No
it in
fencing or
somewhere.
dog shit. Allowed.
Yeah.
Probably the fact that when you're self-employed, unfortunately, whether you're ill, almost at death's door, want a holiday, mental or physical, you don't get one. Because you've got your own horses, or somebody does something that requires you to work, or you just don't get, you can't, unless you're out of the country, and even then you get messages about
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
That pisses me off.
Yeah.
And it's not directed, it's just generally, well it is, it's directed at mine. Right.
I
Because Freddie
remember-
got another injury and I'm like, can you just fuck off? Stop it.
I remember I got a message in, well, obviously time difference. It was we were in, maybe in Fort Worth, I think Texas there, and it was about 3:30 in the morning their time. Anyway, the customer was more surprised that I replied 2 minutes after they'd sent it because it woke me up and I thought, right, I'll just deal with it now. Sorry, I'm in America.
Jesus Christ.
I had
I
one on a
won.
honeymoon. I was sat out, me and Ben were having a meal and the waves were crashing over and it was absolutely Santorini. Fucking wonderful. And I got a text about a chuffing lesson. I was like, taking a piss. Not even going on your honeymoon. He was like, I'm so sorry. Because I answered as well. I thought, sorry, I'm on my honeymoon.
Yeah.
I'm in Santorini at the moment.
Yeah.
And he was so apologetic. I thought, yeah.
But why message you back saying, oh, really sorry? Just don't message
Well, yeah,
back.
exactly. Just fuck off. Just leave me.
No, I don't want an apology. Just fuck off.
Yeah.
I don't bloody know. I can't think about what's pissed me off this week.
Nothing.
No,
Good
to be
week.
honest.
Well, it's only Monday.
Well, all right, last week.
And
Then.
you've got plenty of coffee in the jar, so you're all right. You're good at the moment.
Life's not that bad, is it, when you got coffee?
Absolutely not. I think a lot of people are coffee drinkers.
Yeah.
No, you've got an issue. You've got a problem.
I have not got an issue with coffee, right? How many people out there drink coffee? I bet there's more people drinking coffee than tea.
We did the poll. Well, you did the poll.
Yeah, I
did
don't
answer
know.
the poll.
No, and actually it was
fairly
tea.
level, wasn't it?
Tea beat it.
Oh, you'd fucking say that.
No, I did. I
anyway.
voted.
Were you the only one that voted tea? I know somebody did they put vodka?
Vodka,
yeah.
yeah.
And then it turns out, she knows my dad, I don't know how.
It depends what time in the day the vodka comes out.
You should stay away from vodka.
I know.
I tell you what you should stay away from. What was it? Port?
Port. Yeah, that's one.
A redecorate bathroom in Port. Because him and Stephen thought it was a really good idea. I tell you what, right, on a scale of 1 to 10, talking about being pissed off, right, here's a good story. On a scale of 1 to 10, how mad was you the day of your wedding to see them three still sat in that hot tub?
Well, if I'd have known how it ended up, I'd have jumped in the hot tub and joined them, really, wouldn't I?
Well, yeah. Yeah, but we can ignore the wedding part. Just them three in that fucking hot
in the
tub.
morning, and I come back and it was like Hansel and Gretel, but rather than breadcrumbs, there were beer bottles all the way from the house into the
And
the hot tub.
Stephen was part of that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then-
That wasn't good. I apparently, they said that I erupted like a grizzly bear.
Yeah, he did.
And so much so, nobody dared and say anything. Martin jumped out, and I think he was just wearing boxers and was tying ribbon on the car. Steve just jumped in and went looking for eggs. He's scared of chickens.
I was on the phone to Stephen this morning. They'd been up all night and got pissed. They'd just sat in the hot tub getting pissed all night. And then I heard Mac in the background when I was on the phone to Stephen. I was like, right, I'll get off now because he sounds rather fucking mad.
As I were throwing beer bottles into the thing. And I was saying, I've had complaints from neighbours and they're all
And
like...
he ain't got any.
Yeah, and he's like, who? That one? That one there? That hasn't even got a roof on the house yet.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
It does pop into my head all the time, does that story. Like them lot just sat there getting pissed all night. But it sounds about right, doesn't it? But I don't know. Right, so have we got any other questions? Have you got any questions, Mark?
When will I get paid for this?
You're fucking not. I'm going to give you a fucking drink. What do you want? Juice, Rubicon, beer or coffee?
I'll have all three.
Because we haven't got any fucking tea bags, that's for sure. Alright, Felicity, have you got any questions?
No. I think I've asked them all.
No, I think we've answered everybody's questions from online. So I think we will call...
Wait, you never asked me what my favourite horse was.
Oh,
your
all
favourite
right.
breed?
Sorry. What's your favourite breed of horse?
Unicorn.
Oh, fuck off. No, go on then. What's your favourite breed?
My favourite one, I would say, which is going to be controversial, but blood type horses, pure and simply. For instance, thoroughbred, because you can then cross them with so many different things, and you've got a cob cross thoroughbred, you've got size, you've got weight carrier, you've got stamina. I just think that they're a good all rounder, and there's good and bad in everything. I know thoroughbreds get tainted with kind of
Good assholes.
Yeah. They get the wrong end of the stick, but I think it's like anything. Dealing with a thoroughbred is almost like dealing with a higher intelligent person almost, I'm not saying all of them, because like some horses, thoroughbreds, if they questioned, for instance, when they're going jumping, wouldn't probably be the smartest thing. You want them, not too switched on. But yeah, I would say overall, thoroughbreds are a great thing because you can cross them and, breed them out. I mean, like traditional hunter types, things like that. As you're well into your heavies.
Yeah.
Like, Shire Cross Thoroughbred was always, known for years as a good staple, a good, hunt type horse and things like that. So, I'd say Thoroughbred.
What's your least favourite?
Least favourite?
Donkeys.
You answered it. I don't know. There's certain ones have certain quirks and things like that, but I'd say it's a difficult one. I can't really answer that because there's a few.
Do you find Friesians tricky?
They can be, yeah. They'd be one on my list, but it's not like
you did mine for years and it were grand.
Was he?
Reuben?
Was he?
Yes, it was. Give bother.
I just made it look easy.
All right, okay, man. I know when it's not easy because you fucking tell me. So, yeah, I like Friesians. Really like Friesians.
Yeah, they're very good to look at, beautiful to look at and things. They're not the easiest of, they're quite...
They can be quirky.
Yeah. I'd say, a bit like Appaloosas in the same reason,
I hate Appaloosas.
Oh, well, good. Well, you said it then, so it's all right. We'll open it up.
Yeah, I hate them.
They're quirky ones. Certain one. I know this sounds stupid with what I've just said with blood type, but like some warm bloods can be very difficult. Things like that. It's just you've got to know, but. That's more like, you kind of foreign breeds. Yeah, and it's maybe the way they've been bred and dealt with in those countries. Maybe we're a different way. We tend to be maybe a bit softer here, don't we?
Do you not think, though, they're bringing too much blood into these animals over here?
For the riders.
Yeah, because
the riders we've got.
Yeah, because, obviously you've got your top eventers, dressage riders, show jumpers and all that lot. But for the, average Joe... Yeah. What just want to go do one affiliate stuff or hacking or whatever?
You all know Freddie.
Yeah.
He's sport horse, and he's he's bred beautifully, but he should have done more really as a youngster.
Yeah.
But he's been passed around a lot, and it's because he's got too much about him.
And because it's like a fucking dinosaur.
Well, there is that size.
It's massive.
Yeah, they breed them big, and then people can't ride them because they're too big.
Yeah.
Because they're, and I don't think people need that, and I think they like that, and then it's become a fashion.
Yeah,
I think people breed them bigger. And...
I think it's kind of true. And like my dad would always say, and his dad, my granddad, his granddad, going down the line. And it was one thing he'd always say, he'd take an ounce of blood over a pound of flesh. Just that little bit in there. I'm not saying huge amount, an eighth even sometimes is enough. Yeah, it's just that little bit, more switched on, more stamina, more things,
More willingness.
Yeah, more willingness, probably easier to train possibly as well, things like that. Because generally they are willing, aren't they?
Yeah. I suppose it all depends on the individual horse as well, doesn't it really? Like, not to sit on the fence, but if you've got two foals bred the same way, but in different homes, one's handled every day, one's chucked in a field till it's 3-year-olds, they're going to be very bloody different.
Well, yeah.
Very different.
Unless that person who's been handling him has been handling him wrong. Well, and they've allowed him to get away with things, because horses are smart. I think people don't give them enough credit, actually.
I said this earlier, although they are very clever animals, they're also very fucking thick.
Well, yeah, it can go hand in hand.
Yeah, 100%.
With certain things, it's like anything. They'll learn a bad habit quick. You know, a good habit takes time.
Yeah, of course it does.
It's harder, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've always said this, though. It can take you 6 weeks to put something into an animal, a horse, should I say. And it takes some numpty 6 minutes to take it all back out.
Oh,
and you've got to start from the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100% with that one.
Yeah, I like to handle all mine every single day. Even the foals get handled every day. Even if it's just I bring them in and put them in the stables, I don't get loads done with them because I think you can do too much with them.
Yeah, yeah.
And that you've got to allow them to be horses at times.
Horses love repetition.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I think they've got to know the boundaries as well.
Yeah.
Like I said, they're bloody big animals with a brain.
Yeah.
They can't be pulling you about and pushing you about and whatever else. So
Freddie used to get pinned at the back of the stable because he used to grab head collars. When Mick was trimming him, he'd pull him around. So I'd come in and find him tied at the back of the stable. Yeah. It's like he won't let go.
Okay, no. Right, well anyway, we've been going for like nearly an hour. I think over an hour actually. So if anybody has any more questions for me, Flick or Mac, good old Michael McTurnan.
Oh, you want part 2, you know?
Yeah. Would you come back on again?
Well, yeah, more beer, more supply, you know?
More beer, more coffee, and more fucking Rubicon. Jesus.
I know, maybe a sandwich and biscuits next time will go well.
We'll make sure we've got a packet of blood bob and biscuits on side. And if everybody can give us a like or a follow and share it with one horsey friend, that would be much appreciated. Hopefully some of Mac's customers, clients, friends, whoever, will give it a listen as well. And we will all say bye for now.
Goodbye.
See you later.